Here.
All right, and we're live.
Yeah.
Welcome back to my channel, guys, or just a plain welcome if you're new. My name is Victoria, and if you didn't know, this is my booktube channel where I discuss all things bookish and also release original music inspired by books that I love. So if you don't know, I'm a huge fan of Sarah J. Maas, and so I'm very pleased today to be hosting a live show discussion of A Court of Frost and Starlight by the one and only Sarah J. Maas. I am joined today by some lovely co-hosts who are also creators in their own right, so I'm going to link their stuff below if you want to check them out later. And now I'm going to pass it over to them to share a little bit about themselves and what they do, and then we'll get going discussing this book. So I'll hand it over to you, Erin.
Hi guys, my name is Erin. I am a aspiring actor, I guess. You may recognize me from Tori's lovely fan casting of ACOTAR. She cast me as Elain, which I am eternally proud of. Biggest accomplishment of my life so far. But yeah, I'm just really stoked to be here. I was really excited when she asked me to do this. And yeah, I'm really excited to answer your questions and to have an interesting discussion.
All right, and PJ.
Sorry, I just had to move because everyone was getting ready. Hi guys, my name is PJ. I make funny, hopefully, videos based off the ACOTAR and Throne of Glass series. I basically just take the mickey out of them. If you don't know what the mickey is, just the fun out of them. And I'm also an aspiring author.
All right. So before we get really going into this discussion, I thought it would be kind of fun to just share some of our non-spoilery thoughts, just sort of general impressions, and then also how the book sort of met our expectations about it. I don't know if you guys have been following online, but this book has been getting a lot of really negative reviews, especially for its lack of plot. But for me, I don't know, I just assumed that it wouldn't have a plot because it was a short novella that was supposed to be kind of an extended epilogue. So I was really satisfied. I thought it was entertaining, like, yeah, a little bit cringy at times, which we'll get into, but overall, I just thought it was fun and entertaining. It was kind of like a nice way to just conclude the horrors of the last book, because I feel like introducing a new problem in such a short space of time would be like quite a lot to deal with. And then also considering there's a whole other series coming, I sort of expected she wouldn't introduce any new conflicts. So for me, I was very satisfied. I don't know about you guys, but I'd love to hear your thoughts as well.
I personally was pretty satisfied by it too. I enjoyed the whole thing. But I definitely agree that it was difficult to kind of figure out the whole, like, what the plot was exactly. And I mean, I really enjoyed seeing the characters again, seeing where they're all at, and how the war has kind of affected them. But like, I definitely agree that it could have used a slightly more focused kind of plot point, mostly because if somebody asked me to like describe what happened in the book, I probably wouldn't be able to.
They basically just shopped for Christmas presents and then had a Christmas party. It was fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like I literally felt like I was watching like a Vlogmas vlog rather than anything else. And I enjoy Vlogmas vlogs. Like I think that they're super fun, especially Zoella's one. But I'm just like, my girl, I didn't pick up this book to read a vlog, though I did enjoy it. Like there were some parts that I thought were hilariously funny, Amren, and some parts I just thought were, yeah. So that's like my initial thoughts. I just felt like I was just reading just like a very long vlog.
That's a really good description. I sort of compared it to like the Shrek the Halls of the ACOTAR series, but I feel like yours is more appropriate because it kind of takes into account like all the random life details that were sort of irrelevant to anything except for the characters' daily lives.
That's a Christmas special.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, so we're going to jump into some spoilery bits now. So if you haven't read this and you care about spoilers, I would suggest you leave and come back later. So bye! All right. Bye. So jumping into it, I'd love to know your guys' favorite scenes and then also favorite characters, and they can overlap. But just, yeah, some things that stood out to you as wonderful that you loved. So for me, it was definitely this scene when they were having dinner and Amren was talking about how she needed to learn how to pee, which is so cringy. But like, if you watched my reading vlog of it, I was
That's
dying.
why I saw it.
Like, I could
it.
not keep it together. Like it was like why am I laughing at bathroom jokes, but also like just so absurd. And then when I think it's more, and she's like, "You really don't know how to pee." I'm just like, what the fuck?
I'm just like I've heard Sarah J. Maas talk about how she like has a bunch of wine and then writes a ton, and so I'm assuming that totally came from her, just like sitting there continuously writing, needing to pee, and then ignoring it and writing for another hour.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's like every time, because she always, yeah, every time her characters get really drunk and just like have a ridiculous conversation, I'm like, yeah, that's like just her little brain while she's sitting there drunk also having a ridiculous conversation.
Oh, I need to be here, honestly.
It's like everyone complains that her writing is a lot like fan fiction of her own work, but I'm like, why are you complaining? It makes it hilarious.
Yes. I'm like all for fan fiction, so like I love to see some real life fan fiction.
She even said in an interview, like I remember when she was first announcing the spin-off series, she was like, yeah, I just sold some fan fiction of my own work to my agent. Like I was never going to show anyone, but then I got really drunk and accidentally told her I was writing it. So here we are.
Oh, I want an agent like hers.
I know. She's so down to earth. I love it.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear your favorite scenes as well, Erin.
Okay. Well, favorite scenes. I was like typing out a couple things yesterday, having a glass of wine, very Sarah J. Maas style. But just like going through mentally what happened in the book, and I ended up writing out like 4 or 5 different scenes, being like, oh, I love this one for this reason, and oh, I love this one for this reason. So I'm just gonna take a peek at my little digital notebook, and on a slightly deeper side, I really enjoyed the scene where Feyre painted that picture of like herself, where like how she saw herself in that mirror that I can never remember the name of, the thingy.
Not the mirror there said from Harry Potter.
No, no, not that one. the sadness mirror, not the happiness mirror. But I also love the scene where she's talking to the weaver who created the void material, because I think that was a really good kind of moment for Feyre of just like getting outside of herself, because that was something that I found was a huge issue for her throughout all of the books, was she was so internal about her problems. And then that moment was just a very good, like, oh my goodness, she's like learning from other people and recognizing that everybody has dealt with some really heavy stuff in the past little bit. Like the war really screwed over a lot of people. Yeah. So and then like that whole scene, I just was like a sobbing mess, especially when the weaver talked about like how she created hope right after that. And it was like,
okay, hang on one sec. You guys on the side watching this, can you see all of us presenting? Because I think I've done something weird to the setup and I'm not sure that it's actually showing all the presenters.
No. Oh, I mean, no, like I'm looking at like the actual YouTube video though, so I don't.
Is it like, can you see yourself when you're talking?
Yeah.
Well, I can see myself down there. I don't have the YouTube video itself open. So let me scooch around here a little bit.
Okay, someone says yes, now we can.
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry guys, this is my first time hosting one of these, so I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh look.
Wait, unless now it's stuck on Erin.
Oh. Hi.
Why? Well, this is awkward.
Oh, yeah, there's me.
Oh
Well, it's still me.
no. Oh dear Lord. Well, while I figure this out.
Oh, there you are. You're up there now.
Now it's me, but it's because I clicked on me. I don't know how to make it everyone. PJ, you can tell us about your favorite scene while I mess around with the series.
My favorite scene was actually when Cassian like stormed after Nesta. Like I thought shit was gonna get real, like shit was gonna hit the fan. I was so ready for it. And then he just like, I don't know, I just got excited because I'm just really into scenes like that. Like she hadn't talked to him the whole friggin' dinner, and then she just storms off without saying a word, and then he like storms after her. Like I am so into things like that. And oh, thank you. And yeah, it's really just like every single scene with Cassian and Nesta. Those are my favorite scenes. Every single scene.
Messian for life.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, my favorite scene was when he stormed after her. And I know that that's like a random scene, but that's definitely my favorite.
Nice. So now let's talk about some of our least favorite scenes. Anything that kind of bugged you or that you thought didn't work. For me, that had to be the snowball fight, which I know a lot of people love, but like I just found it so cringy. And like I love Sarah because she's cringy, but like that was almost just like one step too far for me. Like when they're sitting back being like, oh, like the boys are out doing some like really dangerous boyish thing, like you don't want to know what it is, and they're in like their year, and then you find out it's a snowball fight, and she's all like, the most dangerous warriors in the whole realm were having a snowball fight, and I was like, oh, just like too much. No.
Like, yeah, I agree. That one definitely kind of made me like, okay. I mean, like, I'm here for it, but like confused about it. For me, it wasn't really a scene that I found didn't work. It was more like a scene that I found really frustrating. And I think it was supposed to be frustrating. It was that scene in the Court of Nightmares where it was from Moore's perspective. Because she just had so much angst and like frustration that she couldn't put her father and Eris down. And it was just like, I feel you, girl. I feel you so much. And I could feel her frustration. And it was just like, it was a great scene, regardless of the like confusing kind of, I'm not sure whose perspective this is from because it wasn't in first person. Was it first person or third person? Sorry, not an English major. But anyways, it was just like, I loved the scene, but also hated the scene because I do see Moore as such a powerful and strong character, and to see her kind of experiencing that really kind of frustrating sort of thing, it's just like, meh, my baby, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hard out. I think one of my least favorite scenes is like, and it's not as good as your guys. Like mine is like just, it's dumb. Like I didn't like it when Pharaoh like mentioned that, oh, our next class isn't for another 2 hours, so I've got time to spare till then. It was like her telling me her schedule. And I was like, my babe, I don't care about your schedule. Like I give no craps. But like I'm telling you, it's not as good as yours, but that is my least favorite thing because I'm like, I'm not reading all these pages so late at night so you can tell me your art schedule.
Just cut that one. We don't need it.
Yeah, my babe, we don't need that.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like because it was the schedule or because it was Feyre? Because I know for me, if it was like Cassian, I'd be like, yes, tell me your schedule. But because it's Feyre, I'm like, can you shut up?
Yeah, I think it was because it was Feyre. Well, like, I just don't care. Is really, but yeah, I think it was just because it was Feyre. But I really enjoyed that. Like, there was like a bunch of different POVs because that's what I really like about the Throne of Glass series is that it's like a bunch of different point of views instead of just like one point of view. I mean, I could totally do with Elain the whole entire time, but with Feyre, I mean, it's Feyre, so.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that though, because this book made me miss Elain. Like when Feyre's like, oh, and like I have so much money, but I don't, but I do, and I'm like, where's Elain to blow some shit up with fire magic?
I know,
right? Like, oh my gosh, her inner turmoil about her like financial situation. It's just like, dude, you don't have a financial situation. You have like more money than the entire planet Earth. So like, you really don't need to like fight with yourself about like your lack of like fight with yourself about buying something that you really want that you think is going to help people, and it's just like, girl, it's like this is not a problem.
Yeah, I feel like
this is a non-problem.
Creates drama like where they're not to be.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, Feyre, honey, like you're the most powerful person in the universe except for maybe your husband, and the wealthiest except for maybe your husband. So like, it's okay.
Yeah.
To be okay.
And I mean, like, she's got such a friggin' good life. She's got like a hunty. Also, are we talking about, because I've got like, not an idea, but I've got like a thought about, okay, so all the way at the end of the book, like the last page, Nesta's explaining how Feyre is in comfy clothes, right? And Rhys isn't. Is Feyre pregnant? Because
you mean like in the preview for the next series?
Yeah. You think she's pregnant? Because she's like in comfy clothes, and Rhys isn't.
Comfy clothes like the whole time though, right?
True.
Like, I feel like there's lots of scenes in this novella where she's in like leggings and a sweater. Like I feel like that's just Maas's go-to Feyre comfy clothes look.
Yeah. Okay.
Like in ACOFAS too, like when they're in that hotel thing, she's also wearing leggings and a sweater.
True. But she was also quite like snappy, and I know that pregnant women tend to get snappy because I've never heard her, well, not heard her, read her speak to Rhys so harsh before, unless there was like a mental thing going in, and she's like, "I'm sorry, my babe. I just like I'm not really yelling at you, but I need Nesta to know that I'm on her side." And not yours.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because they said that they wanted to have a kid, and then Sarah Maas is having a kid. But I do think, though, that is going to take the whole series. Like, I can see the evidence you're pointing to, but just because they mention how hard it is and how this is not a good time because there's more drama or whatever. So I don't know. I just feel like it'll wait till, like, the next series will end with, like, Cassian and Nesta being happily ever after and Feyre being like, and guys, I'm, like, pregnant now. Yay.
Yeah.
No, I love it. It's beautiful.
But on the note,
sorry, go ahead, Erin.
On the note of like kind of predictions, I'm so excited for Nesta to go hang out with the Illyrians. I think that is going to be so perfect because she's gonna like rip Devlin a new one. Like,
oh my gosh, yes.
Because she's like this crazy powerful female, right? And like scary as all hell. So like I think that it's that Cassian is really just like, okay, we need to bring in a powerful female that isn't Feyre, that can inspire these Illyrian women.
I didn't think of it that way. I thought it was like tough love. Like Feyre was sending her sister away, like basically for rehab. I did not think of it that way.
I think it's probably both.
And that is a good way to think. I like it.
So I think a little bit. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, no. I think we started at the same time. So go ahead.
I was going to change the subject. So please.
Oh, okay. Did my train of thought shoot you away? What I think I was going to say was I think that Feyre really wanted Nesta to think it was a tough love kind of thing. Otherwise, she'd just be like, oh, yeah, whatever. But I think that it'll be really good for both of them. And I'm just like all for more scenes with Cassian and Nesta. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too, admittedly.
So coming off of that, I want us to think a little bit more about the dynamics between the sisters. I've been reading a lot online. People are just so done with Nesta and just calling her a bitch and saying that she treats her family like crap and she just needs to get over it and Cassian deserves better. Personally, I completely disagree. I think that Nesta is suffering PTSD, and she has like a naturally kind of a guarded, angry personality. So that's just manifesting even more strongly now that she's going through stuff. And I also kind of wonder, like, if we replaced her with like a male character, would we still be like giving him the same shit? Because people are saying like, well, she's just like sleeping around and she's being mean to her family and she's such a bitch and get over it. But I'm like, if she was a guy and she was being like guarded and swaggy and sleeping around and treating his family like shit, would we still care in the same way? Because I feel like in some ways Rhys and Cassian are a bit like that. Like, I mean, they don't treat each other necessarily quite to the same extent of negativity, but their whole persona is kind of like the evil guy who's actually a big softy underneath. And I feel like Nesta is like the evil girl who's really a big softy underneath, and we just haven't let the softness come out yet. And so kind of like Rhys was at the very beginning, I feel like that's in some ways where Nesta is now. So maybe it's not fair to really say that about her, but I'd love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I definitely think I agree. Yesterday when I was writing out that question, I was like, okay, I definitely think that she's got her head up her ass. And she needs to like figure a way to like get it out of there so that she can actually like function in normal society a little bit. But like, I kind of like really enjoy the juxtaposition of her and Elain's situation, because she really doesn't have the tools to ask for help. She'd never ask for help. So she's just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to push and push and push and push and push. And also like, she took a lot of shit from the cauldron too, like a lot. So who knows how that's affecting her like brain and her like emotional chemistry and stuff like that. Like the whole scene where she's just talking, where it's from her sorry, from her perspective, where after Cassian leaves and she's like, oh, I should just turn the Phalite off and keep it off and just keep him cold out there. But like the whole scene where she's just feeling numb and she doesn't feel guilty at all. And it's just like, okay, yeah, she's got some serious depression, some serious PTSD issues. And like, she needs help, but she's not going to ask for it and she's not going to accept it. So she's got this kind of catch-22 situation.
Yeah, I really like what you said, because especially in sort of the snippet for the next series, I really got that sense when she's commenting on how Feyre doesn't have any pictures of her and like, of course, she's not wanted here anymore. Like, you can just tell that she actually is desperately crying out for help. And like you said, just really has no idea how to ask for it. So like, she's pushing people away, but secretly being like, bring me back.
Yeah, I loved having the few snippets of her perspective. That was like so good.
Yeah. I was in two heads about Nesta. Like, at first I thought, my babe, like, just stop. Like, you are such a cunty girl at the moment. And I just couldn't understand it. Until I finished the book and had about a day to process it, and I was like, she is hurting, and she's like numb and she can't like keep it together really. So it's really it's yeah, I can't really say much about Nesta because I wish I knew her more. Like, I just know her as this badass strong girl, and that's about it. But I did fall in love with Nesta when friggin' Feyre was explaining how she feels so much more than she actually leads on. But yeah, that's my thing. Sorry, I just gotta grab my charger because my laptop's gonna die. Yeah, but I'm done, by the way.
Okay, so also about Elain, now that we've covered Nesta. Elain also gets hate. I feel like a lot of Sarah J. Maas characters just get hate, and I think people that hate on Elain are, okay, I'm gonna just be controversial here, but I think that's like a little bit sexist, because Elain represents like very traditional femininity and kind of gentleness that's its own strength. And like, yes, she does spend a lot of time sitting around and like coping with her problems, but like, people cope in different ways, and like, just because she's gentle and kind like doesn't mean she's not a strong woman. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, the frustration that people get with Elain, I find like similar to my Game of Thrones frustrations with Sansa with the early years. But like this one, I'm just like, yeah, Elaine's been through some like really heavy shit, just like her sisters, and she's dealing with it in the way that she knows how, by taking on those kind of household tasks like gardening and like baking and cooking and all that kind of stuff that she genuinely really loves and has the ability to do and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm really actually happy that we're seeing her growing and changing and kind of experiencing new life through those things. It's her finding her safety and what is normal in her new world. Because that was her human life. Her human life was, she was the gardener, the flower child, and now she's kind of lost in this world of power and magic, and she's just trying to find a normal kind of balance in there.
Yeah, you know, I totally agree. Okay, so I did Elaine yesterday, right? And I love to get in the personas, and everybody knows that I'm not like this cutesy girl, right? So to do Elaine as like a cute feminine flower, like I felt cute, and like I shouldn't say that because but anyway, I really liked Elaine. I mean, to some extent, I think she isn't useless, but she just, at the start of the book, I was just so mad with her. I was like, bro, like, you got to pull your weight. Like, you are poor is what you are. You can't be going asking for a cloak when you guys don't have food on the table. No. You need to get your shit sorted because you are not in that fairy tale land anymore. You ain't rich. And then as the series went on, I really liked it when she came back from the cauldron and she just was like this walking, I want to say zombie, but I'm into those like different kind of characters where they're just like not all there. And I think it was really cool that she wasn't like all there, because it gave so much more to the book. Like, it just made me want to read the book so much more. And especially when she was like trying to warn them, but they thought that she was just like crazy. And then when they stopped thinking that she was crazy, like, you know, she was just like slowly coming back. And yeah, I think the most I enjoyed her was when she was out of it.
Yeah.
When she's crazy.
Yeah, when she's crazy.
That says a lot about you, PJ.
Yeah.
So now I would love to ask you the question that is of the utmost importance, and seriously is the most important thing for the next series. Elain and Azriel, or Elain and Lucien? As you know, I personally think Elain should be with Azriel, because I think that Lucien is just like basically objectifying her through the mating bond and doesn't even know her, but is like, but the bond means therefore you're mine and I need you. And like, he's not a horrible person, but I feel like it's just not right. Whereas, you know, Elaine's gentle personality fits really well with Azriel's gentle personality. And I feel like they can bring each other like the love and the calm that they both desperately desire.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Azriel and Elain all the way. Mostly because Elain has had like literally every decision taken from her. And to have her be forced into a mating bond kind of is like the icing on the cake of like her not having any kind of agency. And it's like, I want her to make that decision. I don't want her, whatever the magic of that world, to make that decision for her. And also, baby Az really needs some love.
Yeah, I really like what you said there, because like, I don't know about you guys, but I got like really weird vibes when Pharaoh was all like, you're not even giving him a chance to know you. I was like, she doesn't fucking have to. Like, she doesn't give you her time. No.
Like, she can do whatever she wants.
And like, I know for Pharaoh it's coming from a place of like, I'm so happy with my bond, I want you to be happy, but still I was like, no, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, baby, go.
Oh, okay. It's interesting because it's really kind of like a reverse of the Tamlin-Rhys situation, because Tamlin was not the bond, and was super controlling and manipulative and stuff. And I guess Lucien has kind of taken on certain elements of that because he's been around Tamlin so much, but not to the same level at all. I love Lucien. I love Lucien so much. Don't get me wrong. And I think he deserves all the happiness in the world, but he definitely has his moments where you're like, oh yeah, you're totally like influenced by Tamlin. But Azriel is just all about letting Elain live her life and do whatever she wants and grow and heal however she needs. And he's all about being there for her when she needs him. So that's, I think, it's more of a self-sacrificing love, the same way that Rhys was, where Lucien is more of a self-serving love, the same way that Tamlin was.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, PJ, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah. But I noticed with every single Sarah J. Maas book, there's always a pairing, right? There's always couples, and okay. First, to answer the question, Azriel and Elain, because I just think beautiful, and Lucien.
I don't know, man. It's
him. I don't feel like there's a genuine connection there. Like it's forced. Like, buddy, you were on the opposite team, and like I felt so embarrassed for him when he was like trying to give Elaine tea, and I felt awkward when he was like just trying to comfort her. I was like, just give up. It's okay. Just like go in the other room. She'll come to you when needed. Like she didn't even give like a second blink. Like no. But okay. So Azriel and Elain. But I want Elain to just like be. Like I don't want her to have to be like, who am I gonna date today? Like, do I choose a mating bond? Do I do this or that? I want Sarah J. Maas to give one of her characters like a single life and a happy single life, because readers, like as a young reader anyway, well back when I was young, I always thought that you made it if you had a partner, right. But that's not the case. Like my babe, you can be happy without a partner. It's all good. Like, and it just puts a big downer on things. But other than that, Elain and Azriel.
No, I really like what you said about that, because I think that is one of the things I like about Sarah J. Maas, is that she does have this theme of love conquers all, and that's wonderful, and I like that. But at the same time, I think you're right. It does sort of create this expectation that like once you find that perfect person, like everything is golden. Like case in point, like there's drama building up to the moment they get together, but in the aftermath, like everything seems to be fine. Like Feyre and Rhys don't really fight, which again, maybe we'll see more in the next series. And then Rowan and Elain also don't really fight. And like, yeah, I get that there's other things going on, so they're more focused on like conquering the world or saving the world, whichever. But like in their own kind of lives, they're always fine. Like the dangers that are happening around them never seems to really affect their love for each other, which I feel like in real life it probably would, especially like if you're so focused on other things. I don't know. It just seems like you'd have more conflicts in your relationship. Because I guess the point I'm trying to make is like once you get together, like she always presents a happily ever after, but I'm kind of waiting for the like working through it that life is about.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also like, I like to think of it like, okay, so they've got like really long lives. And like, I feel like there's going to be a really long kind of flip-flop for Elain, where she'll hang out with Lucien for a while, or hang out with Azriel for a while, or whoever else. And like their lives are so long that commitment to like a single person, regardless of the mating bond or anything like that, is just kind of unrealistic. And it's just like, like, I don't know, like eternity.
It's a long time.
That's a long time to not like explore other options.
Yeah.
We were all just really non-committal.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, okay, Edward Cullen didn't find Bella for hundreds of years. Feyre comes along 500 years later, you are my mate. So you're telling me I have to wait hundreds of years to find my soulmate, my babe. I don't have that much time.
You're mortal. You just get to chill out until the old man selects you.
Yeah, exactly. Based off of all the YA novels I've read, it's not an immortal lady that takes on the. I'd love to read a book like that, though. If anybody knows a book where it's like immortal lady.
Aragon.
Oh yeah, totally right. Yeah, I've read those.
Do they even get together though?
No.
He's just in love with her, and she's like, "Bitch, I'm ancient." Like, bye.
Which makes the most sense out of all of these. Like, why? It's just like, do we all like have daddy issues? I don't know what's going on here. Like, we just really like older men, like a lot. I'm not sure what's going on with this like culture of women being seduced by 500-year-old men.
Yes, that's why I love that scene though in the beginning when Reese was like, oh my gosh, she's turning 21. What have I done? And he's like, it's fine. And he's like, is it though?
It's it. Like, no.
They just go right back to normal. So I don't know. It didn't really fix anything.
I was so thinking about it the other day. I was like, all these YA books making me act like I've got to wait hundreds of years to meet my man. Like, no, I don't have hundreds of years.
So speaking of shipping, there's been a few comments in the question thing about Amren and what's his face? That's something.
Varian?
Yes.
Varian?
Marion?
I forgot his name now. See, that's how much I care.
There's a lot of characters in this book, man.
There is. Oh my god, there is.
I was trying to go through all of the names before this, so I wouldn't have to be like, yeah, that person. But like, it's like just not really realistic. I'm pretty sure that Sarah J. Maas sometimes just goes like, "What was that?"
Yeah, she
like,
probably has like an Excel document.
What book were they from? Like, what series?
Yeah, so I would love to think about like, do we ship them, do we not? Because for me, like, I thought he was just sort of like a side mention, like he doesn't matter, and then he's in this like novella, and I was like, okay, so apparently he does matter, and I just don't ship it. Like, I'm sorry, don't hate me, but I just don't get it. Like, it's the same thing I've talked about with Manon. Like, these two super badass supernatural ladies, and like they literally say like through their whole, like, anytime you get the perspective, like, men are stupid and they're so weak and I can just seduce them and I hate them and I would like to eat them or murder them, either or. And so I just hate the idea that then suddenly they meet like the perfect man and then they're suddenly like undone and everything they ever thought is wrong and now they found their soulmate. And it's just, I don't know, it's quintessential Sarah J. Maas, where it's like she can't just let a lady be like independent and badass or gay. Like, honestly, I thought that both Manon and Amren were either lesbian or asexual, and then for her to just like match them up with this mortal guy out of the blue, I was a bit like, it just feels forced to me. And like, I mean, she's the author, so I'm like, do what you will, but I'm like, I don't see it with their character. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is like what I'm talking about with the friggin' like, my babe, they don't have to be a couple. They can be separate. It's totally fine. You don't have to pair them up.
Or even friends. Like,
yeah.
I would like to see just a healthy male-female friendship in her books, but inevitably when they're friends, they end up as more.
Yeah, especially with the whole like Moore and Cassian and Azriel situation, where Moore is just like, yeah, I'm more interested in women, but like that's not going to be a thing I can really pursue at this point. So I basically just like hang out with Cassian and Azriel and confuse poor Azriel. And and I don't get me wrong, I love Moore. I love Moore to death. But yeah, she's one of those, like, I find her lesbianness frustrating because it's so downplayed, I guess. Like, it could be so much more. And then also with like the Amren thing, I think that I could ship it if we spent more time with it. And I also think that because this is her first like human, not like, she's not that ancient being anymore as much. So she's just kind of like, oh, I'll explore this a little bit more. And she's probably experiencing new emotions and new kind of like stuff. But still, at the same time, I'm like, it's
then she should just be gay. Come on.
Yeah, it's Amren, dude. Like, Amren is literally like the quintessential character type to be an incredible asexual character.
Yeah.
So like, and I want to see that. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm all for her getting her game on and like doing the dirty.
Exploring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And this is like the other thing I'm talking about with like reading a book and making it feel like you have to do something, like how I was talking about the couple thing, like you have to have a boyfriend and like you've made it. Because books have such an influence, and I would really, really love to see more embrace her sexuality, because it gives her readers, well, Sarah J. Maas's readers, an open door. Like, if one of their favorite characters can be so open about their sexuality, well, maybe I can too. You know,
which I feel like maybe we'll get more in the next series, which I really hope, because when I first read like the original trilogy, it really seemed like Sarah was just going, oh, I got to tick that diversity card, so I know you were shipping more Nazriel, but I've changed my mind because I need a gay character, so it's a secret. So like I was really unconvinced, but I'm like, okay, we get 3 more books, so if there's not any kind of arc with her coming to terms with it, then that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, like we mentioned it, she mentioned it like in passing in this book, but it's just like, I think that more at this point, this is where her arc needs to be. This is where she really has the chance to explore that aspect of herself, because like there's been the like 50 years where they were all kind of trapped in there and worried about Reese, and then there was the war and all this kind of stuff, and before that she never really like she had the opportunity, I don't know, she's just had years and years to really kind of piece together those pieces and figure out what really is of value to her. And I think that throwing in that she's a lesbian really was like a last minute kind of like, oh, I need some more diversity in here, and it's just like token lesbian.
Which we need one, so we'll just throw it in because she's not paired up yet.
Yeah, and I'm like, why couldn't it just be Amren? Like,
exactly.
Like that makes so much more sense.
Like if Amren's not ace, then she needs to be like a lesbian. Like just get rid of that guy. I don't care. I don't know who he is.
I honestly don't know how they can manage to get away with, like, how she can manage to get away with like making Amren attracted to people at all, because she's not. She was never a person to begin with in the traditional sense, because she had all like so much eternity beforehand of not being a fairy or a fae. And I think that,
or it should look differently, because like she obviously can feel love because she loves her friends and is loyal to her friends, but it's also like not quite human how she does it. So it's quite human how she pursues romance.
Well, she's probably just spends a lot of time making Varian, that guy, super uncomfortable.
I would love some scenes of that.
Yes, me too.
Especially like this girl doesn't know how to pee, so like you think she knows how to have sex? Like think about it.
And is this a conversation that she's previously had with this Varian? Is somebody in the comments like
please tell us
can
his
you
name.
Tell us what his name is?
Like the fact that like she gave no shits when she was like, see, the thing is, I've got to take wee-wees everywhere, and everyone's just like, Amren, you know how to go to the loo? She's like, bitch, I see animals do it. Like, it can't be that different. Like,
I just want to like an actual.
That's what I liked. That is what I liked.
That scene was so funny.
So funny.
Yeah. So I want us to think a little bit more about the heteronormativity in Sarah J. Maas's books, particularly this idea of the mating bond, because, I mean, my question is, can you have like same-sex mating bonds? But I think not, because it ultimately is explained as harkening back to our animal instincts where we just wanted to fuck each other and have children. So I kind of feel like maybe you can't. And if that's true, then that brings a whole host of problems, because like then same-sex couples can never actually have the same sort of recognition of their romance that heterosexual couples can. And so I'd love to kind of get your thoughts on that. And this sort of plays into a lot of criticism Sarah J. Maas has received for diversity and also for being anti-feminist. So I'd just love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. That's not something that I spent a ton of time thinking about, but now that you mention it, like, that's actually really, like, valid. One thing that I've seen a lot of in fan fiction that I read is just like soulmate bonds and stuff like that being represented in more than just like, oh, this is my romantic soulmate, this is my friendship soulmate, da da da. And I would have loved to see a little bit of that kind of concept explored a little bit in the story, because I think, like, yeah, it harkens back to like the ancient evolutionary stuff, but also it would probably evolve with the people to, like, I don't know really what I'm talking about, but like it would probably evolve with the people to like represent what is important to them. And I feel like it would just have so much more of a cultural I've lost my argument, but it's like, it's definitely frustrating to see that. And with like a kind of like mating bond sort of thing like that, it is difficult to have that sort of bond in place when you can't have children, I guess. But it's like, at the same time, is that such a necessary, I feel like it's definitely a bit of a romance cop-out to have a mating bond sort of thing. Because I would have honestly really loved to see Feyre fall in love with Rhys regardless of whether or not they had that mating bond. I think that that would have made the story so much more like, what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but
it plays to their personal autonomy, right? Because they're together because they choose, not because the universe is telling them. Exactly.
And that's probably where the like anti-feminist comments are coming from, because it's not like a lot of this of Sarah J. Maas's stories really come down to people not having autonomy and wanting it, and her like really focusing in on these characters having autonomy, but then in romance they don't. And I think that I've found that slightly frustrating, but I still do love the concept of like soulmates and bond mates and stuff like that. I think it's really beautiful. But at the same time.
So I just want to point out, some people in the comments have said in Throne of Glass, there's a demi-fae mated pair that are just kind of mentioned on the side, which are both men. So I just want to acknowledge that. So apparently maybe you can. But then my question is, how does that work then? Because the bond is accepted by the female bringing the male food. So good luck with that.
Yeah, like, I was gonna, before I lost my train of thought, I was like, you have no idea how hard I've been like trying to keep my mouth shut, because I'm gonna lose my train of thought.
Let it go.
There's a part in, I don't know which book it is, like in the ACOTAR series, but there's a part where somebody explains that the mating bond is there because there's something these two people, man and woman, can produce, as in like a baby. So that's like Rhys's parents. They didn't love each other, did they? Did they?
No.
No.
They were mated, but they didn't like work out or something.
Yeah. I think he was explaining it to someone when he's just like, they may not love each other, but the cauldron needs them to be together for something. Like, it played out so much better in my head. But yeah.
To keep the race going or some shit.
Yeah. Something like that. But yeah, that's what I've got so far.
That was relatively calm. I thought you were gonna explode.
Oh no. No. I just lose my thoughts a lot. So I was
I
like,
totally
yeah,
get it.
no worries. We all do. These live shows are so hard, I find, because like you can't edit anything and like it's all just
Yeah.
It's like, here's my words. This isn't a thought out argument at all, but like maybe it'll have
yeah. So coming sort of towards the end of this live show, I want to think about the end of the book and the infamous wall scene. And the smut in general. I think it kind of really got going sort of midway through ACOMAF, and now it's just become like quintessential Sarah J. Maas. And personally, like, I think people can write what they want and read what they want, and I don't have an issue with erotica, but like sometimes I do question why there's so much in books that are marketed to people that are so young, because while it has shifted into new adult, I don't think that the marketing industry has quite caught up with that. Mm-hmm. And so when you go into a bookstore, you see her books next to like Percy Jackson or something else that's sort of aimed towards 12 to 15-year-olds. And so I wonder if that's somewhat problematic. And then secondly, on a more ACOFAS related note, I thought that the one in this book was so unbelievably cringy, and I'm sorry to say that, but like it actually made me uncomfortable to read. And like when she's all like, oh, like fuck me in my mind, I was like, oh, just like no, stop.
I'm like going like over here, like, oh my god, you're talking about
So I would love to hear what you guys thought, and just smut in general in her books, and then that particular scene.
Well, I'm all for it. I'm like totally fine with it. Like you said, people can write and read what they want. I definitely agree that there should probably be some sort of like warning. These books do contain like adult themes and maybe parental guidance, sort of like a rating system, kind of like that. But like also it is like up to this discretion of the parent and the person and stuff. But I think that honestly for me, I don't mind it, but it makes reading it on the bus really awkward. Just anytime I'm in public, like I was reading this at work the other day, and I was just like, oh, this is not work appropriate.
You're like, nobody look at, and then people walk by and you're like,
and then you're like you're like trying to hide it, and then like you forget that like the upper part of the page contains some of it, so you're just like, what part do I hide? Oh, I just don't want to read it now.
I'm like, at least like 50 Shades of Grey is like super famous, so you can't read that in public, but like nobody knows as much about this series, so it's like pretty safe if all they see is the cover. But I'm always so worried someone's gonna like come up behind me and be like, oh, what's that? And they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna like fuck you against the wall, Thayer. I'm like,
nothing. It's nothing.
No, I was reading that scene when my parents had gone out for a smoke. Okay, yeah, parents that they smoked outside, and then they came inside, and I was facing the doorway, so you could see every word that was like being seen in front of my eyes. Babe, did I close that book so fast? I felt so embarrassed. I was like, I don't want you to know what I'm reading, because the second I saw like what Reese said, oh, I lost my shit. I was like, you did not just say that. You did not just say that, Reese. No, I see you in a different light now.
It's so serious. Like, yeah, the whole scene was just so 50 Shades of Grey, like in the style.
It's so kinky.
So I wouldn't know.
I haven't read it. I've just heard Jeffrey Godfrey reading it. Or what's his name? The guy who plays Zazu in The Lion King.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and the other thing that gets me too is like every single time they have sex in this series, it's like mind-blowing and like earth-shattering and like, oh my gosh. And then you get Reese being like, this sex undid me, and I'm like, what the fuck? But like,
it's like, you guys have sex regularly, right?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, like if we're gonna be honest, like I don't have a lot of experience, okay? But like I just don't find it believable that every time you have sex with the person you love, it's like ideal. Like sometimes what if you're tired, or like what if you're thinking about something else? You're like a little bit mad at them. Like every single time, really? I don't know.
Yeah. But Victoria, that's Faye. So obviously every time has got to be amazing. because they are not human.
Shitty life experiences, okay?
1,000% sarcasm.
Incorrect.
I mean.
Oh man. Yep. Yeah.
No, it is not. It was just so unbelievable. Like, I just felt like how I can sum this book up is Vlogmas, Pornhub.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally how I can sum this book up. That war scene was, I could have done without like the dirty talk. The dirty talk is what got to me. That's the only thing that got to me. I could have dealt with the war scene without the dirty talk and her just like looking down. You know that bit?
Yeah.
Just, like,
I do know that bit. That bit where I was just like,
and he's like, watch how I do. And you're like,
oh my god, no,
like, I don't want to. It's like,
no, like
I Farah doing the
I see what you're doing,
them, but like, I don't want to see that.
like, yes, and I see that you are doing great, is what you are doing.
Good job, honey. Good job.
So, people in the comments are wondering if we're actually reading the comments and engaging.
Yeah, I'm reading.
And I just want to say that we are reading along with you. But unless there's like particular talking points you guys want to bring up, we also have some other ones, and we're hopefully trying to interplay back and forth. So I'm sorry if we didn't get to one of your comments, and hopefully we can do better in the next video. But we're so grateful that you're watching, so thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So we are coming to the end of our hour. So I just want to kind of conclude with a fun little, which Harry Potter house would you think these characters should be in? And I know PJ is not like a huge fan, so maybe you can just sit back and laugh, or...
No, I will choose some houses. I know 3 houses. Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, and Slytherin.
And the Ravenclaw is the smart house, so you can add that one too.
Hufflepuff is yeah.
So let's just sort the inner circle kind of as a fun way to end, and then we'll rank this book out of 10 and sign off. So let's discuss Reese first.
Gryffindor.
I don't know. I
kind of feel like Ravenclaw, maybe.
Ravenclaw. Reese definitely has some Ravenclaw to him because he's not the guy who will just like run out. He's not the guy who'll just... We're losing PJ. He's not the guy who's just gonna run out and like save the world, even though he does. But like, he's much more subtle about what he does. He's much more intelligent. He doesn't just make decisions on the fly.
Like a snake. So Slytherin.
I contemplated that too, actually. Like, I'm wondering, to a degree, he does have Slytherin elements. But if anything, I'd say that Farah is a little bit more Slytherin than Reese.
You think Farah is Slytherin?
Just because of how she manipulated the whole spring court.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Hufflepuff.
I feel like, yeah, I would have said Hufflepuff. But like, just because like loyalty and community and relationship is so important to her, because I feel like Slytherin, like, she's as clever as a Slytherin, but Slytherins kind of operate on the basis of like achieving things and ambition and control, whereas I feel like she's just like, love me.
Well, she's got her Slytherin persona, definitely, like the Hewn City persona and the Spring Court persona, and like the outside of the Court of Dreams. She has that Slytherin persona, but definitely inside she's a lot more Hufflepuff.
All right, so let us pick Amren next. I would say Slytherin.
Slytherin.
But Ravenclaw could be a close second.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, man. I read a whole like article recently on like the intricacies of house placing. I don't know.
Of course you did.
I might be a dork.
And so what did you conclude?
I concluded a couple different things, but it was just kind of like, people always assume like the biggest personality trait, like it was just like coming to figuring out. Sorry, I'm gonna start over that whole sentence because that makes no sense.
Go for it.
So basically, you would put the characters that you're trying to house into a specific situation, decide what they would do, and then decide whether that reaction was Hufflepuff or whatever, rather than personality traits themselves.
Interesting. So it's like your primary motivation for action.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
Yeah.
I'm just nodding. I'm just gonna nod.
Yes.
Okay, let's move through this a little faster. So let's do Asriel. I think Slytherin.
Yeah, Slytherin. Yeah.
Or Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff. No, oh, yeah.
Slytherpuff.
He's a Slypuff.
And he is a Hufflepuff. That's what he is.
I think, okay, Cassian, I think we can all agree is just Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was.
PJ's like, who am I forgetting? More.
Gryffindor.
I think
Gryffindor.
Yeah, I'd say Gryffindor too.
She wears all red.
I think it's the red. I think it's the red.
And she's also like just super brave and like reckless in a brave way.
Yeah.
That's a terrible justification.
She makes emotional decisions rather than like really
ones.
Things.
Yes. And then I guess we can do the sisters as well. So Nesta, I think
Slytherin.
would be Slytherin.
Slytherin or Ravenclaw.
Yeah. And then Elain would be a Hufflepuff. Or maybe Gryffindor, like the Neville of Gryffindor.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. I could see her there.
Somebody's commented, let Sarah J. Maas take the Pottermore quiz for her characters. That'd be funny. Okay, so to conclude, let's give this book a ranking out of 10. I would probably say a 7. While it wasn't perfect, it was, in my mind, just intended to be kind of a fun novella, so I didn't really have high expectations, and I was just wanting to be entertained, and I very much was. So I'm going for a solid 7.
Yeah, a 7.5, 7, 8 area, depending on my mood and depending on the chapter. It's like, I definitely agree. I was brought into it because it's Sarah J. Maas's writing, and I love her writing style. I think it's very good at drawing people in. But story-wise, I was just like, meh.
Yeah, there really wasn't a story. It was just Christmas.
Yeah.
Can you guys still be my friends after this, please?
Yeah, please. Say next 5.
I would give this a 5, only because I got more excited about the teaser quotes and the cover reveal more than the actual book. Like, when I saw the quotes in the novel, I was like, and here I was thinking that it was like some fantastical, like, we will survive. No. I didn't get that. I just got Vlogmas and Pornhub. But there was still some
5 is generous.
Hey? Yeah, well, I gave it a 2 on Goodreads because it's out of 5. But it's just like, I don't know if no, actually I won't say that. But yeah, I give it a 5.
Please, no, say it.
No, because I'm gonna like lose. People are gonna hate me. But I don't know if it was a money scheme. Like, babe, you got to write 200 pages, and we'll sell this little tiny book, and it's a, and I know it's a bridge. I know it's a lead up to another one, but it's not a lead up that I was that interested in. I feel, I don't know if it was because Feyre annoyed me or I just wasn't into the whole, like, what am I going to get for Christmas? Like, I just didn't care about a lot of the things that they were doing. Like, Feyre's art, like, her wanting to buy a studio, gave no shits about that. Her schedule, gave no shits about that. And just, like, yeah, I just felt like I was following their life along. And I feel like as a writer, it's really, really fun. Like, I do that. I just do, like, little vloggy things, but I would never like be like, hey, here you go.
Okay, yeah. The one thing that I do want to comment on that though, because I've been hearing a lot of people say online, like, it's just a money scheme, it's just a money scheme. So like, first of all, Sarah J. Maas like said in an interview she was only writing it for fun, and then her agent found out and decided to. So I think we can't really fault her. Secondly, like, authors have no control, traditionally published authors at least, over like how much their book is sold for. So a lot of people are saying she's tried to scam us. It's 200 pages, but it's only $1 less than her actual novels. But again, like, she doesn't have control over that as the publishing house. And people are buying it. So, like, I think we should congratulate her for her success, that we're willing to spend that much money on a little in-between novella, rather than saying she's just trying to scam us all. Like, clearly we all love her, and that's why it's doing well.
Yeah. which is why I didn't want to say it, because you had like mentioned it, like that it was just like, not, was it a fanfic? Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Okay, it was,
Yeah.
And I was like, but my comment is so irrelevant now. They accepted me, and here we are.
No, I understand that perspective, though, definitely.
Like, I totally get, like, I think the reason it's getting a lot of negative reviews is because if you expected it to be like a Sarah J. Maas novel, then no, it wasn't. It had no plot, and it was basically just fluff. But I think because I expected it to be fluff, I was like, all right, hit the spot.
Yeah, you were ready. Yeah, I didn't actually read the blurb or anything. Like, I knew it was coming out, and then I ordered it, but I knew nothing else. Like, I didn't know when it was. Like, I didn't keep up with it. I just knew that there was another book, and I was like, I'm going to buy it, and then I'm going to read it. Yeah, and here we are.
Are there any final thoughts you guys want to add?
No, I think I've said enough words today. Yeah.
All right. Well, then we're going to sign off. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that came out to watch this live stream. This was my first one, and I had a really good time, so I might do this more often, and I really appreciate you guys commenting alongside us and sharing your own thoughts on the book, and I look forward to engaging more with that in the comments of this video once it goes on my YouTube channel. And as well, make sure you check out my lovely co-hosts. I will leave their links in the description. So we have PJ, who is an author and also a booktuber, and Erin, who is an actress, and who I'm, fingers crossing, hope plays Elain when they make the movie. So make sure you check them out. And as always, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye.